Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of In the Stars with Shantae Out Loud. Today we're going to be discussing the upcoming Libra eclipse on Monday, March 25th, 2024, which is going to be happening overnight, technically here in the United States. So let's get started. Before we begin though, of course, I always want to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Shantae. I go by Shantae Out Loud, practicing astrologer of 12 years, self-taught, and practicing business for the last 5 years. If at any point during this video you're like, I need more from her, because you probably do, feel free to hit the link in my bio to go visit my website, visit my Patreon. There's plenty of options to get more of my thoughts, ideas, and get more information from me from an astrological framework, idealism. So that's me, and that's what I have to say. And now we can go ahead and get started talking about this upcoming eclipse. So this eclipse is a Libra lunar eclipse. So a lot of what this eclipse energy is doing is taking us back to some things that really were initiated back as far as April 2023. April 2023, 420 as a matter of fact, was the first eclipse in the sign of Aries and Libra on the axes at 29 degrees of Aries and Libra. So this was the beginning of ushering in a new phase where we officially had the North Node move into Aries and the South Node move into Libra. So pretty much from April all the way through even October 2023, we were dealing with a lot of themes surfacing within the areas of our lives that hold Aries and Libra energy, certainly Mars and Venusian energy, and also really anything that had to do with other cardinal placements. Capricorn and Cancer were also triggered. So if you had any cardinal placements, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer, you've probably been triggered by this energy. If you haven't yet, maybe you're starting to feel it now. Maybe it'll come out even more again once we get to the end of the year and the final eclipses in September and October of this year. So that is an option and a possibility for you if you haven't felt it yet. But overall, we're looking at Aries where the North Node is and Libra where the South Node is. So if you want the full breakdown of what all that means, I did put out an Aries Libra eclipse. You can check out the rest of the videos under my astrology tab on my page. I want to just really make sure I focus here about this upcoming Libra eclipse. So this Libra eclipse, because it's in Libra, it's ruled by Venus, right? So we're consistently thinking about Venusian themes surrounding love, relationships, surrounding money, surrounding resources, surrounding pleasure, surrounding connection, and it's happening in the air sign of Libra. So we're talking about the way that we connect with groups and individuals of like minds, the way that we connect in intimate and personal relationships, what we bring to the table, what we expect from people are all coming up as themes right now. This, coupled by the fact that this Libra eclipse is actually ruled by Pisces, Venus in Pisces, which I think brings a little bit of an extra little, I don't even know what to call it, like an extra little pizzazz, I guess, to this energy, just because Venus in Pisces is an exaltation planet. It's exciting for this planet to be here. It wants to be in this place. It wants to express itself at the highest level of this planetary energy. So with Venus, we're talking about those themes of love, pleasure, resources, relationships, talents, and beauty. And we're placing it in the sign of Pisces, a sign that is representative of service, of compassion, of endings, right? Of fantasy and realism, of the subconscious, of the generational, of the codependent. And this is something that I think is really important as we're navigating this eclipse to consider is This energy, Pisces and Libra, are both, in my opinion, two of the most idealistic signs when it comes to love and love relationships. Both of these signs are really seeking out a way to connect with their partners through often self-sacrifice, right? A lot of times we know Piscean placements to, they're falling deeply, deeply in love, and they can sometimes let go of their inhibitions. They can let go of their sense of self. They can let go of their realism, because that's why we say they wear those rose-colored glasses when they fall in love. And Libra energy is pretty similar. It's like Libra has that dependency as well, where they really want to connect with a person, where they really want to connect with a thing. They will kind of let things go and pile up in the honor of diplomacy and making sure that everything is functioning and everybody's connecting well, even if it means that their needs aren't being met, or they're not being heard, or they're just not even being expressed, period. So this is something that I think we should be thinking about really hard as we're navigating this. With that idealism that Pisces and Libra shares, it also brings into call substances and where our attachment to substances, love being a drug, right, is a real thing in people's lives, right? There are love addicts. There are people who are consistently searching for themselves in other people, at detriment to taking their own journey in their own spirit, in their own reality, and actually finding out who they are, what they want, what they believe, and what they're here to do and accomplish outside of just being in partnership with another person. So a lot of this is bringing up and stirring themes of past relationships. Certainly past relationship cycles, even current relationship cycles. If you're in a relationship right now, it's possible that you are navigating a cycle that is not even only yours, but maybe something generational, because the nature of Pisces is very old. It's an old soul. Piscean energy carries like the generations with it. It carries a lot of the past with it, right? So we are kind of being predisposed to what we've been predisposed to, and actually having to think about it. This is also coupled with Venus in Pisces is, and really was, conjunct Saturn on the 21st in Pisces. So whenever we have Venus and Saturn coming into contact, whether it be via square, opposition, conjunction, as it was on Thursday, the 21st, we are really thinking about what is working in our relationships, what is working in our relationship to relationships, and where we might be facing blockages as a result, either within those relationships or as we're moving outside of those relationships. I always think about like the 7-year itch, right? That comes 7 years into people's marriages. That's usually when it's like the Saturn square of your marriage comes up. 7 years later, it's like, let's go back and see, how are we feeling since that wedding day? That's what Venus Saturn a lot of times is. And so what it is it offers an opportunity for us to either reaffirm a partnership, reaffirm a relationship through the use of boundaries and through the use of coming to terms with new levels of understanding that we're seeking to reach and get to. Or we might realize, you know what, this relationship and this relationship journey has been exactly what I've needed it to be up to this point. Thank you so much for the lessons here, but I think it's in honor of both of our hearts. It's maybe in our best interest for us to part ways. In this way, these Venus, Saturn, planetary, conjunctions can be bittersweet, because it's like, wow, I've really enjoyed this relationship with this person, or wow, I've really wanted to maintain what I thought was working. But we are again being forced to recognize where we might be over-serving, where we might be ignoring ourselves in order to maintain relationships. And this is not just for people. We're also talking about Pisces and even Libra. People don't know this, but like Libra and that energy, it does have a lot, of addictions, not only to love relationships, but like primarily alcohol. When I think about Piscean energy as well, these are themes of addictions. Codependency is more than interpersonal, right? It can also be on things. So really coming to terms with, where do I put my heart into? What am I putting my heart into? And is that growing me, or am I continuing to repeat a cycle that's actually not in my best interest because I'm so attached to this person, to this substance even? Now, another thing that I said in my Instagram live that I think I have to say here too is, please recognize that like all of us are carrying relationship wounds, right? If these statistics are right, and like 50% of people's parents did not make it, 50% of marriages end in divorce or at least separation of some kind, doesn't that mean that pretty much if you aren't the person you are coming into contact with to relate to, who had a parent or a relationship with family that is not, where they're not commingling and interacting, don't you think that that means the person across from you probably has? Which means that we're all fighting these battles that we did not necessarily create as it pertains to partnerships. And so while we can all be doing that, and while it's okay to be doing that because we didn't have good examples, we didn't have therapy, we didn't have all these things, but like none of us had that. Like most of us did not have that. So using that as an excuse is really kind of something that I think Venus conjunct Saturn is also allowing us to no longer like use as a crutch. Like enough already. Most of us did not see healthy relationships growing up and throughout our lives. What does that mean for our here and now? And what does that mean about how we need to choose to relate to someone? Do I feel like I'm losing my sense of self in this relationship with this substance or with this person or with this community? And what does that mean for me that I need to do to assert my boundaries and make sure that my healing is at the forefront? So that's one way to think of it. Now, the other way that I think that this energy is showing up, like as we move into the aspects. So the chart for this astrology is actually really interesting because it's a Sagittarius rising chart. I'm like super excited about it because I'm a Sag rising. So I'm like, ooh, I'm listening. But Sagittarius rising chart, which means that Saturn in Pisces and Venus in Pisces are going to be at the angles of the chart. Angles in astrology are houses 1, 4, 7, and 10. And what happens in the angles of the chart is there is a lot of focus on us. The first house is us. The fourth house is me and my family, the people who I came with. The seventh house is me and the people who I grow to know or who I grow to maybe even have contention with. And the 10th house is the world, right? This is the public. This is what people see of me. So it's possible that at this time you're really coming to, all of us could be feeling the strain of needing to create better boundaries, maybe within our home, within our mental health. And this is another reason that like it could be that you're feeling like you need to abstain from something moving forward. Maybe, you know what? I used to go out every weekend. I now realize that I can only go out 2 times a week because I don't really have the energy to do any more than that. These are some things that you could be thinking about. You know what? I need, my boyfriend and I, we spend too much time together. We're together 7 days a week. And honestly, I need like 2 days to myself. So I'm going to go ahead and take those 2 days and we're going to have to take 2 days apart. Like these are the important boundaries that we're going to be asserting. And that's what happens, especially when I look to where this energy falls in the chart. It falls in the 4th house, which means that it is about our mental health. It is about our environment. Are we erecting the proper boundaries in our environment to give ourselves self-love, to give ourselves the self-care that we really need to be able to do what we're supposed to do, to be able to take care of ourselves, to be able to serve ourselves, and to be able to heal ourselves, because that's what is at the core of all this Piscean energy. Now, we'll also have the sun in Aries making the opposition, obviously, to the Libra moon. So wherever we have, and whenever we have, the sun and the moon in opposition, and it's this full moon energy, in this case, it's the eclipse, we're seeking out a balance. But this is even more overwrought because we are talking about the sign that represents balance. So when we're thinking about Libra and Aries energy, we're really trying to figure out how to use our own sense of selfhood and really put ourselves forward, which is the Aries energy. And we're also trying to figure out what it means for our relationships to assert that kind of level of personal power. And so a lot of this energy could be finding us coming to terms and confronting how much we have maybe put ourselves at the back burner, or how often we have chosen to do the group thing when it actually could maybe have behooved us to do our own thing. And what this energy is asking of us, because the South Node is in Libra and conjunct the moon. And remember, the South Node is not always about letting go. It's about recognizing that the right relationships empower us through the use of boundaries, through the use of justice, through the use of understanding the ideas of another person and trying to meet in the middle in a way that is beneficial to all parties involved, right? We're looking for equality in our relationships. We're looking to be valued and express value within the realm of our relationships across the board. So whether you're watching this thinking about, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever situation, or thinking even about your work life, right? Am I getting all that I should be getting out of my work environment, out of my, out of my business? If you're running your own business, like what can I be getting more out of for myself at the that I am letting go of, or foregoing at the cost of other people? And so again, it doesn't mean leaving all these relationships. Like, do not go and say, fuck my friends and like burn all of your relationships with other people. But do take some time and sit and evaluate whether or not you feel like you're in equitable relationships across the board. One thing I always recommend to my clients when they come to me, especially for love, I'm always like, do you know what it is for love that you are looking for? What are the characteristics in your partner that you're seeking? That's my cat, Diamond. She's very loud. What are you, seeking to call into? And what are you meeting the mark on, right? We can't say, well, I want my partner to be really romantic, but I'm not going to put any work in romantically speaking for that. Like that's not the way we do that. That's not equitable and fair. And so this is what that is really calling you to do, is create equitable and fair relationships. And with the sun in Aries, we're recognizing, because the sun is always about that illumination. It's like, hey, have I been doing this for me? Have I been pouring into me? Have I been taking charge of me? And these are big questions. Now, the interesting thing that I think is happening with this eclipse is the sun in Aries is actually going to be ruled by the detrimented, or Mars in detriment, in the sign of Pisces. And the reason that Mars is said to be in detriment in Pisces is because sometimes Pisces energy lacks direction. And at the core, Mars is seeking direction. It's seeking to take its power and move its force forward. When we're talking about Pisces energy, it wants to connect to its own detriment, and it struggles to cut things off and let things go. It struggles to get out of that cycle and that circle. So on one hand, this energy can feel like, it's been 12 years a slave with me in the midst of this cycle of relationships with, all these different parts of my life. Or it can feel like, it's been 12 years a slave. Not anymore. We're going to Django this bitch, like burn it all and as much as we can. So this is really a choice. And there's a lot of power, because even though we say it's in detriment, there's a lot of powers in being able to break cycles. Mars in Pisces is like literally breaker of chains, Daenerys style, like take these chains off if you choose to focus on the new habits of self-service that are going to help you maintain and maybe abstain from things that are not healthy for you, you can do a lot for yourself as we're getting through this season. Now, when it comes to other aspects to think about, we do have Venus conjunct Saturn, which I've talked about, but we also have Venus sextile Jupiter, which means that not all is lost. When Venus and Jupiter come together, these are our great benefics, and what they want to do is they want to give us more. So there is an opportunity. Say you are having a Venus Saturn moment with your job. You're like, damn, you know what? I'm not making enough. I don't feel. Jupiter is there to tell you and remind you that there is more out there. Maybe you need to talk to some resources. Maybe your bestie is an HR professional and can give you some pointers on how to tweak your resume. Maybe you can start watching some seminars or something on YouTube and learn a new skill that takes you to the next level. Don't allow Venus Saturn to keep you in a box. Venus is, after all, in its favorite sign right now. Along with Jupiter in Taurus, this is what we call mutual reception. This happens when two planets are in each other's signs and they're at the same time and they're getting down with each other. It's like a good energy. Venus is the ruler of Taurus and Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces, and they're in each other's they're in each other's signs. So they're having a good time. Do believe expansion is possible. Do believe more beauty is possible. Do believe that there's restoration and new possibilities at the forefront if you choose to dream and invest your time, effort, and energy into making that happen. But you have to believe that and you have to want to see that happen. The final aspect that I want to discuss here is going to be the sun and the moon both making aspects to Pluto in Aquarius. So the sun in Aries is sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. And what the sun sextile Pluto brings is opportunities to feel empowered, especially sun and Pluto in Aquarius together. Really, Aries and Aquarius energy together is really raw. It's really powerful. It's very assertive. It is very definitive and deliberative in its actions, right? Pluto wants to take it to the next level. The sun is showing us something. It's making a contact with Pluto, which means that we're getting to see something that maybe needs to be shifted. It needs to be transformed. It needs to be empowered. It is decayed, and we have an opportunity to rise it up and make it something new. On the other hand, we have the moon in Libra trine Pluto in Aquarius as well. And the moon in Libra wanting to get along and make things understood and kind of keep the flow, getting along with this Pluto and Aquarius energy is allowing for conversations to take place amongst groups of people that really do ensure that changes are being made, that people are feeling like their words are being heard, and that there is expansion in groups and in who we feel comfortable and safe with. There's a lot happening there. So to kind of go down the list as far as it's happening, I'm going to go like Libra, Aries, Taurus, Scorpio that way, because I think it's a faster way to do it. So Libra and Aries placements are really being called to focus on their boundaries within themselves and their routines and their daily life. Are you pouring enough into yourself and your needs? Are you making sure that you're getting all that you need out of yourself in order to be able to show up as your best self? And if not, are there people around you who you can seek support of, who will help you with that so you can meet the call that you feel guided towards right now? Taurus and Scorpio, or Scorpio and Taurus placements. This energy is really falling in your house of conscious and subconscious. Really needing to pay attention to what you do every day that you don't even think about, that kind of goes over your head. Are these healthy habits? Are these habits that are growing you? How much time are you spending on your themes of pleasure, things that make you happy and feel good? How much time are you spending on making sure that your mental health is good so you can perform in the world and be seen as you're supposed to be, seen and understood? it may take some time for you guys to like go inward, and you may need a little bit of quiet time during this time, this eclipse. Moving into Sagittarius and Gemini placements, you guys are going up into a whole new like cycle of relationships with love and pleasure and projects and risks and opportunity, while also battling some of the old groups of people or old friendships or old networks or even old goals that are no longer applicable to where you see yourself going. It's time to rewrite a new script, and it's time to make that script your foundation for moving yourself forward in your goals and in your passions and desires. Take a risk. When I move into Capricorn and Cancer placements, you guys are having this energy mostly take place in your home and inner life. So it could be that you're coming into terms with new needs for boundaries, maybe new needs for space, both on an inner level within your home and also outer. You need to be seen. You're ready to be seen and appreciated for all that you do and all that you have to give. At the same time, this is going to require that you do spend more time tending to the little things, such as your mindset and your habits and routines. This is the way that you're going to grow these ideas and this sense of, importance and magnitude that you have for your destiny in your life. Then we move over into Aquarius and Leo placements. And you guys have this energy mostly showing up in your 3rd and 9th houses. So this has a lot to do with what it is that you're moving forward, how it is that you think of your achievements and your potential to expand and experience your life. Some of this energy might have to do with needing to recognize that your values have shifted to a degree, and you're now interested in really pouring into some new foundations of belief systems and the way that you want to show up in the world, or you want people to show up for you in the world, that is going to impact, your capabilities for moving up and being seen again by people in higher education or in higher knowledge in the spiritual realm or in spiritual communities as well. And finally, we get to my Virgo and Pisces people. Virgo and Pisces placements, this energy is mostly happening in your Succession houses of finance and resources. It might be time for you to draw a line between yourself and other people so you can really make sure that you're building yourself up. This can also be a time to gift other people in your life if you are seeing that you're having opportunities of expansion show up for you financially. Maybe your gift can be the gift that keeps on giving to someone else, and it sparks some sort of mutual agreement that is beneficial for all parties involved, even on a business level or in a way that really expands your finances down the line. So, lots of stuff coming up and happening here. I only wanted to talk about the Libra eclipse right now and today, but I will be back, of course, to discuss the April 8th solar eclipse, where everything is going to be in Aries. I want to say one more time, if you liked what you heard and you want some more, hit me up on patreon.com/ShantaeOutLoud. That's the place to follow me and get all of the insight. Full in-depth horoscopes, lots of things I've written. ShantaeOutLoud.com is another place to find me. And you can find me at Shantae Out Loud like everywhere, because I'm just Shantae Out Loud all the time, every day, wherever I'm at, you feel me? Big S, okay? Not the little one. Okay. So that's what I've got for you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope that your eclipse is safe and healthy and good. If you need some tips, go watch Eclipse Tips 101. I just did put out that video about last week. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.